One of the things that was kind of interesting when I was going through my research here is that you're anti-abortion.
That's funny. Actually, I'm not. I would say I'm not pro-choice, and I'm not pro-life. You know what I mean? I'm not. I have nothing. I have such an issue with these two-party systems. I mean, W.E.B. Du Bois said it best. He was like, "There's just one evil party with two names." But we get into this idea that you have to be on this side or this side. You have to be right or left. You have to be liberal or conservative. I'm neither of those. And specifically when it comes to abortion, if you notice the things that I said, I never said the word abortion. I never said any of that stuff. Like, even now, that's why I said I'm not pro-choice, I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-Nick, because my mother did go to an abortion clinic to abort me. But that never made me say I feel one way or another, because as a man, I don't have the right to speak on what a woman should do with her body. And I don't feel like the government should have the right. I don't feel like any organization that makes money should have the right to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body. A woman should make that decision. And so that's why I don't speak on that. Now, but if we want to just get to the facts, there's certain things that I don't agree with because of the way that this system is set up. And when I speak on things, whether it's Planned Parenthood or even the idea of the government having a decision on what women should do with their bodies, I'm against that totally, because I feel like it's a systemic issue. When you look at what Margaret Sanger and all the people who follow eugenics and all that stuff, it was all about cleansing. It was all about Margaret Sanger said that she wanted to exterminate the Negro race, and that she was gonna use her organization that she founded to do so. And it actually didn't have any, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't about abortions. I never speak on abortions. It was more about the sterilization and what they started with when it comes to just actually ethnic cleansing, where they actually said we want to get rid of a class of people, a group of people. You know what I mean? And they like to label feeble-minded or lower class, using terms when they were, that's what they used in public. In private, they were talking about the black communities. And so it starts with everyone from the sterilization. They were utilizing these clinics to say, oh yeah, we're helping you, but they were injecting them with diseases. I mean, and it goes not just from there. We can go to the Tuskegee experiment, we can go to the 80s and 90s when they were injecting people with HIV. Like, all of this stuff is real, but people don't ever want to talk about that because they rather have the simple conversation, are you pro-choice or pro-life? That's not what I'm not in that fight. I can't speak on that because I'm not a woman.
Okay, but right now, Planned Parenthood, I mean, I've heard the stories about how they wanted to, essentially sterilize blacks and Jews originally.
Right.
When
Absolutely.
they started.
Yeah.
But when you look at Planned Parenthood right now, when they offer abortion services, they offer STD testing and stuff like that.
Right.
And
75% of them are all in the hood. They're all the Planned Parenthood. And this is what I say, and I speak to that often. Mm-hmm. And I almost, it's synonymous to me with the government. Of course, the government has done some very helpful and amazing things. But we can't just praise them for how wonderful they are and then deny all the negative things they've done. We got to hold them accountable for everything. So, yeah, great. The government, we have a nice postal service that works really well. But you can't deny all the prisons and the poor public education. And it's the same thing with Planned Parenthood. I commend, and I'm pretty sure they have growth. And, I don't, whatever their foundation, or now I can't even say their foundation, whatever their infrastructure is today, I'm 100% sure that they're way better and have evolved more than when Margaret Sanger was there. But I'm talking about the infrastructure. I'm talking about this system that was not designed for us. This and how it's the mindset that black people, lower class people, Latino people are less than all of the elites. That's my issue. And that's why I say I have an issue with privatized prisons. I have an issue with all of these corporations that are all the liquor stores in the hood and all the fast food restaurants that are constantly, this is all we have. This is you've put us in this area and you surround us by all of this death. And then you get mad at us and point fingers at us and say, we'll never be able to excel. You guys are feeble-minded. You guys are less than. No, this is the system in which you placed us in. And we still excelling. We still getting out of it. But then when we want to raise the flag and say, look what you're doing, then all of a sudden we're wrong.
Right. Well, you actually went to the Republican National Convention.
Yeah.
And you had a stance of the parties have to earn the black vote. We're not just going to stand behind Hillary Clinton just because she's not Donald Trump.
Right.
But then Donald Trump won.
The lesser of two evils. But I say it was pick your oppressor. I didn't care who was the president. It's all about pageantry. You're not voting on policy. You're voting on a personality. You know what I mean? Policy is given to the president by the people who have the real money. You know what I mean? Said, this is what we're going to tell you to get out there and represent. And that's why I was like, hey, if to each his own.
I don't know. I mean, I think Obama did a few things that were anti-big business.
Yeah.
There's Obamacare in general has really fucked up the medical business.
100%.
A lot. But what it did give is it got rid of pre-existing conditions and allowed everyone to have health insurance, which otherwise wouldn't have had it, which I thought was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But that's anti-big business. And that's something that Obama put together himself.
2007, I was a surrogate for Obama. Even though I don't believe in the two-party political structure, I was out there campaigning with that brother just because I needed to see the first black president for what that was going to mean for the culture. And from 2007 to this day, he is the same solid, upstanding individual. But the institution of the president, that's a monster, man. Like, I can't subscribe to that. And I think he did a phenomenal job. Such class, such grace. But I think he's going to do so many more amazing things outside of his presidency. And you're about to see it because, man, that all of that stuff, man, that's bells and whistles, dog. Like, they set it up to want to make you think that you are making a choice. That's why they divide us so they can control us. And I'm fine if people are comfortable in that space. And sometimes the conversation gets a little too deep and they start calling you crazy and conspiracy theorists and all that. But honestly, it's in the books. All you got to do is read it. It's right there. It's history. It's facts. I'm only talking facts. I'm not talking about anything that I thought. These are things that is truly documented.
Well, when you talk about picking the lesser of two evils, when you see the amount of racism and ugliness that Trump has brought out of America to the light. Yeah. I mean, I know you've said before, I like to see my racism. Put
my racism in my face. You know what I mean? I'd rather you be a wolf and I know this motherfucker about to bite me than you be a fox and you sneak up and bite me in the ass. And that's what a lot of those times, it's because it's all about money, man. It's big business at the end of the day. And we've seen it on both of those parties are corrupt. And both of those parties believe that they are better than the class of people that are really about what America is all about.
Well, here's what's interesting about Donald Trump. Trump is the first U.S. president in all of U.S. history that did not have any political, diplomatic, or military experience.
Very true.
He had zero experience. And now, like I heard that The Rock is considering running for president. I mean, we heard all the Kanye stuff, and that was cool, but no one really took that seriously.
But they've been saying that, man. Like, Will Smith was going to run at one time.
Well, I mean, but now you have a situation where a celebrity
It's a popularity contest, Vlad.
And won. And, like I remember there was this really great Bun B interview that I heard recently where he just basically said, like, the reason why he thought Trump won was he was going into all these places where he's the most famous person that's ever been there.
He's the American dream for the lower class individual that maybe didn't get to where they wanted to get to. When you go into these places like, West Virginia, South Carolina, they see this man coming in with the ties and speaking all strong. They're like, that's what I think the president should look like. and and he's saying what he's not holding back and all that, and it's unfortunate because it is a personality and popularity contest, and we knew Hillary Clinton wasn't popular, so he knew he had an in, and look where it got us.
I mean, would you ever consider running?
Hell no.
Why?
Only because honestly, at the level I've reached and the amount of money that I've generated, I feel like it's truly my duty at this point to give back, to be a philanthropist. That's what I want to be, a great humanitarian. I will give my last, I want to die broke. I want to give every single penny that I make away. My family will be well off and they'll be good. And everything else after that, I want to give I want to build community centers. Right now I'm working on building my own children's hospital. These are the things that's legacy. That's wealth. That's leaving greatness. I don't really care about this little decision between what this person believes and this person believes in policy, because those things don't necessarily make a difference. The people who really make a difference are on a local level. The people who are actually focusing on education, the people who are actually focusing on creating jobs. That's what it's all about, because there's always going to be a debate at the top. It's always going to be lobbyists thinking their issues are more important than the others, and whoever has the most money are the people who are going to win. So if you really care about your community, you got to get on a local level, vote on that level. Don't just worry about the election that comes every 4 years. There's policy that's being decided on each and every day in your community.